Thank you for being here to provide an overview of the proposed ordinance and changes. Also want to thank the members of the public for taking the time to come down to City Hall and those turning in from home to learn more about this proposal and to provide any feedback that they may have. I do wish to remind those members of the public who would like to speak to please fill out a speaker slip before the public testimony portion of the hearing. Tonight's hearing is to review and comment on the proposed changes to Title 11 of the Columbus City Code to add definitions of rate classes, to clarify service charges during water shutoffs, and authorize the Director of Public Utilities to replace water meters and to enact new sections relating to charges during terminations. Again, as we shared at Monday's council meeting, no rate adjustments are being presented with this ordinance. That is for a different body at a different time. This hearing is available live stream on the CTV website and broadcasted on Spectrum Channel 1024, WOW Channel 3, and AT&T U-verse Channel 99. The video is also going to be available on the Columbus City Council or City of Columbus YouTube channel following the event. Assistant Director Lee, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Then I will now turn over the hearing to you to present the proposed code changes.
Good evening, President Pro Tem Stinziano and members of City Council. Thank you for the opportunity to provide an overview of Ordinance 0329-2019. As you mentioned, this ordinance does amend various sections of Title 11. What I'd like to do is turn your attention to a PowerPoint slide. I'd like to go over some of the actual sections in detail for you. What the ordinance does is it amends 4 sections and actually creates 2 new sections in Title 11, specifically in the Water and Sewer Code. We're not making any amendments to the Storm, Sewer, or Electricity Code. Some of the definitions, what we're doing is adding just definitions of things that we already charge. We charge a commodity charge, we charge a consecutive charge, a service charge, and a billing charge. These charges are in the actual rate schedules in the city code. They're just not defined in the definition section. And to be consistent with other definitions we have provided, we felt that these would be appropriate to include. Also, the ordinance authorizes the director to actually replace water meters. We currently do replace water meters. It's just not defined in the code. I'll get into some more reasons why we're adding that language in the presentation. And finally, what we're doing is codifying what we currently do already, which is upon termination, if there's a situation where an account can't be paid in full and they're past a certain point with delinquencies, we will terminate water. And so what we're saying during that period is we will continue to charge a service charge. So the first section I'd like to go over is Section 110501. As I mentioned, this actual section puts in the code the definitions of the commodity service and consecutive charge. The commodity charge is a usage charge. However much you use, you're billed at a certain rate. The service charge is an actual fixed rate that you, as customers, get charged every month or quarterly, depending on the type of account. And consecutive is a bulk rate that we charge primarily to apartments and condos that goes to a single meter, and then it's either sub-metered or the landlord pays the bill and then recoups it through rent. These are not new charges that I mentioned, already listed in the rate schedules. Just a quick note about the service charges. They're actually based on the meter size, so not everybody, particularly commercial accounts, are getting charged the same service charge. As you increase your meter size, you pay a higher service charge. So overall, with this section, we basically want to clarify the purpose and justification of these charges. What I did is I took a little snapshot of the actual new language. You can see there, I've got them defined there, mentioned the water use for a commodity, and really what we're doing with this charge, what we're doing with the revenue that we receive from this commodity charge. And as noted there, it recovers the operating and maintenance costs for us to operate the water utility, the treatment plants, the distribution network, and also to help recover the costs of some of our large capital projects. Talked about the consecutive charge, where we note that it's charged in a bulk water to condos and apartments and the like, and the fixed charge, getting into a little bit more detail about what that actually is. And we note there that a lot of those fixed charges cover meter repairs and replacement, meter reading expenses. A lot of it is billing, our billing team to send out and mail bills, and also provides revenue to cover our customer support center, customer service center. The next section is 1105.038. And this section kind of goes into depth about our water metering systems and all the authority the director has under, meter replacements and meter reading and things like that. But what that section of the code did not have was it did not have wording about replacing meters. So we wanted to add that. Right now, the current code only says that we may install, read, and maintain. So one of the main reasons why we wanted to add replace was we are engaged in our enhanced metering program. We have an RFP on the out right now being advertised where this project will replace meters over all the meters in the city over a 5-year term. And so it's a loan. We received an EPA loan for this, and part of the requirement is we have legal authorization to actually go in and replace the meters. And so by adding the word replacement in there, in addition to install, read, and maintain, we'll be in compliance with the loan requirements, and this provision was advised by the city attorney. You can see here, this is just a little example of what we're actually doing. It's a little snapshot from the actual code, sections B and C, numbers B and C there, where you can see that everywhere we have install, reading, maintaining, we're adding replacing, and that occurs at various points in there. We also are making mention that this is actually a cross-reference here in section C, where in the event that your water service is terminated, in a condition where there's a failure to provide access to the residents or commercial business, or there is a failure to pay, we can charge water service charges during that termination period pursuant to section 1105.23, which I'll discuss in a bit. 1105.23, again, this is a brand new section of the code to add language, as I mentioned, to actually codify the fact and the practice that we're actually charging water service charges during water termination. So it's not a new charge. It was originally in a rule and reg, a director's rule and reg, and it was felt through the city attorney that it was more appropriate to actually codify this in the city code, have it the authority there. And so the reason that we charge these water service charges during termination is there's still ongoing costs that occur even when your water is terminated. There's account maintenance. They're still reading things. They're going out and doing, they have to go out and do on-off charges. They had to go out there to turn it off. They have to go back there to turn it on upon reestablishment. And everybody still gets a bill for stormwater. That's something that occurs every month too. So they're still getting a bill just because they're, even though the water is turned off. The next section, this is just more detail to show exactly what the underlying changes are with the creation of that new section 1105.23, charges during termination. The next section is just a cross-reference to 1105.23. This cross-reference is, as you can see here, in 1105.12 here. It was felt that it was appropriate to add that same language about the service fees under this particular provision of this section related to termination. So there's a link throughout the code, and it's consistent. City Code Section 1147.01. Again, these are not new charges, and similar to the water definitions, this is the sewer section of the code. Again, these charges are already currently being charged monthly and quarterly. Service charges are on the sewer side are actually, that's an error there. They're not based on meter size. It's an actual fixed charge on the sewer side. I'm sorry about that. There is a commodity charge as well. And again, We're just clarifying the purpose and justification for these existing charges. You can see there that even though we call, in this next slide, we call water the service charge, and the sewer side, we call it the billing charge. Again, it's a fixed rate charge that is used to maintain the billing, applying payments, providing support for customer service, and other related sewer system costs. The commodity charge, similarly on the water side, it's a little bit structured a little bit differently on the sewer side, but again, it's a usage charge, and as you know, the charges for sewer are based on water consumption. The next section, and this is the final section, is 114725. Again, this is related to the service charge, and so we're still charging a sewer service charge like we're charging a water service charge during water termination. And so, again, that was originally in a director's rule and reg, the advisement of the city attorney to create a new section, as we show here in the underlying text, 114725 charges during termination. So we say sewer billing charges will continue to be charged during the period that water service is terminated, because we don't meter sewer, we meter water in order to charge sewer. So that's my brief presentation. President Pro Tem Stinziano, if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
I do have a few questions, and based on the presentation, I'm pretty sure I know the answer, but just so we have it on the record, do we expect these changes to impact any revenue projections in the future?
No, sir. These are, as mentioned, we're not changing any rate code, so there will be no changes to revenue.
And as we always ask, will this affect our senior or low-income programs that the department and city support?
No impact there.
And then one last question. In terms of the process, does the department need to get permission from property owners to change out the meters?
To change out the meters as far as our program that we're getting ready to, or currently and in our new program, we do, yes, we do inform them. Usually we go there and we try to make an appointment with them, to enter the home. And so we will do the same thing. There will be, more of a robust plan, obviously, because we're going to be in neighborhoods changing multiple meters along the road, so everybody's going to know what's happening there. So we definitely do some outreach to all the commercial businesses and residents.
Very good. I appreciate answering those questions. I don't see any questions from my colleagues, and no one from the audience submitted a speaker slip. So it looks like we're done. At this time, I do want to thank everyone in attendance and those watching at home for being a part of tonight's hearing. I'd also like to thank the department, especially Assistant Director Lee, for the presentation, and members of council staff for preparing chambers for tonight's hearing. The information is always helpful, and I know those in the audience or watching from home will find it helpful as well. I do encourage those looking for additional information to visit the Department of Public Utilities website at www.columbus.gov/utilities or call 614-645-8276. As always, you can also call my office, 614-645-8084, or email me at mstinziano@columbus.gov. As it currently stands, Ordinance 0329-2019 that the hearing was featuring is appeared in the Rules and Reference Committee on first reading last council meeting, and will be up for a second reading and potential passage on the agenda at our next City Council meeting held this Monday, February 11th, beginning at 5 p.m. Seeing no further questions or comments, this hearing is adjourned.